a great day. And very excited to have Tamara on my show. Not a stranger to the show, but we're talking about a different topic today, one that we're going to get into why it matters to her so much. But it's going to be great. So thank you for listening. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you for listening. And please share, 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 and share. All right, Mark, whenever you're ready.
And you could just call me Tam
Okay.
because it's pronounced Tamara.
I should have known that from the
It's all
last
good.
time.
Totally
Like a
fine.
tambourine, Tamara. I'm
Like
going to get it right.
camera, Tamara.
Oh, camera, Tamara. Oh, I won't forget it now. Okay, Mackroy,
McRoy.
camera, Tamara.
McRoy.
Mackroy.
I get a lot of McCroys, and I'm like,
Oh, I get Geraldine, Jacqueline. I'm going, Geraldine is nowhere close to Jacqueline,
where
but
did that come from?
I don't know. Mm-mm.
People will
Tamara
name you something.
Mackroy.
There we go. Yes.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it now. Well, when you start rolling.
Tam.
Okay.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Geraldine Denny.
Good morning. Good morning. Wake up. Good morning. It's a beautiful and wonderful day. Summer is here, and I am super excited to have my highly esteemed guest this morning. She's not a stranger to the show. She was on the show before, and that would be Tamara Mackroy. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, you did. Yes,
I did.
ma'am.
Now, the last time you were here, we were talking about alopecia and the lack of hair and how you just cut it all off and you're balding
Yes.
and all that. And I was like, wow, I was just beaming with excitement and pride and all those things with what you brought to the table. But you're here for something completely different
yes.
today. You're here about a support group. I guess that you're the founder of this support group.
Absolutely. And so Maternal Matters Favored, we're a 501c3.
Ooh.
We provide counseling and support groups. We do a life skills program as well as workshops to those going through perinatal and postpartum mood disorders.
Ooh.
That's such a mouthful, right?
That is a mouthful. Let's start with the first one.
Absolutely. And so perinatal is the time period in which a woman is pregnant. And so for any of those that have been pregnant, we know our bodies go through these hormonal changes.
I'm about to pass out right now just thinking about the hormonal changes. You're looking at a woman who birthed 7 children. I've been pregnant more than 7 times. Just the thought
Of everything that went into.
the whole whatever. In fact, just the other day, I was having a crazy thought. Ooh, what if I had gotten pregnant? Or what if I was pregnant? Let me tell you.
But God.
Jesus would have to come down here to get this sister real quick. You hear me? Like
Yeah,
the
in these days
rapture
and
would have to
times.
happen. I mean, there's just thinking about the hormonal changes and the pressures of life and the thoughts and whatever. And my husband would be so cool about it. Just FYI, he probably would. Although he says no, but But yeah, no.
During these present days and times, yeah,
In
more
these
power
days
to
and
the,
time, I
to
mean,
the moms, right?
Yes, for those who are pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, listen, kudos to you. You guys are, praying for you, loving you. And so this is a support group for them. And what type of things do you cover for those that are pregnant?
So and mind you, we're a wide range of different program services, and so we have a support group. We provide on 4th Tuesdays of every month. We are located, right up the block around the corner, but we'll get into that. But a few other different things, counseling, one-on-one counseling with regards to co-occurring disorders, and we look at mental health as well as substance use disorders, right? And then, of course, the life skills where we provide knowledge and resources for parents, financial literacy. What does it look like to make some sound decisions? What does it look like to be an actual law-abiding citizen and doing your fair duty? Get out and vote, right? And so we educate folks on these different matters. But for the most part, when we look at perinatal and postpartum mood disorders, it's encompassing levels of depression, OCD, it's baby breathing. You know what I mean? Did I turn the baby over? It encompasses anxiety.
Oh, I went through a huge OCD period with one of my children to the point where if you moved something in my house, I knew it. Everything had to be in a certain
Specific.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
you
Yep.
don't move the coffee table.
Hmm.
Don't slide anything over. Everything had to be clean.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and and so our model, and I love speaking with women and them being transparent is
Mhm.
that there's no manual to parenthood, but there's a tribe for every parent because what we see is bringing this type of conversation to the surface, especially in our communities, that a lot of women they couldn't put their finger on it, but it's like, oh, that's what that was, you know what I mean? And so when we look at the postpartum period,
Mhm.
which is typically anywhere after giving birth to sometimes a year afterwards, and now it's recently been extended to further periods.
That's right.
It's that, oh man, I don't want to hold the baby, you know what I mean? I don't want to get up out of bed, you know what I mean? And it becomes a whole
I
big
might be
thing.
suffering years later. My youngest daughter's 20. Just hear you talk. Listen, I might need some of this support group
That part,
because,
yeah.
because it's one of those things, especially a woman who have never been pregnant before and they're going through it. They don't know. And now families used to be so close knit. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mama was down the street, grandma was around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, women are moving cross country, away from family. They're
Absolutely.
getting pregnant, they're starting families, and they're by themselves.
Yeah, yeah. We just finished wrapping up our second annual charity fundraiser where we broadcast for 24 hours.
Oh,
And during that period, it's the old school. It's reminiscent of old school Jerry Lewis.
okay.
So we have speakers on and
Right.
folks pledge or whatever have you. But one of the speakers was saying that exact thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She was 20 years old in college and she was pregnant and she was away from her family and she was
Yes.
like, "What is going on?" And she went through a tailspin of emotions with being pregnant and having a child without any support. And it wasn't something in which she was able to kind of voice what she was internally going through psychologically with all of the changes taking place. And so this is what we do. For me, this hits home because my son, who's 21, um, I went through it. And
Mm-hmm.
back then, we're talking about a good 22 years ago, these conversations weren't being
Oh no,
had.
you didn't have these
No,
conversations.
no,
It was you didn't have time to be depressed. You didn't have time. That was not an excuse.
no,
You had
no.
to get through it. And how in the world did we get through it back in the day? There's so much conversation now around mental health,
Mm-hmm.
um, and being, the whole body health. And these were not conversations 20 years ago. These
No,
were not conversations even 10 years ago.
no.
And how in the world did we survive? And, I need to call my children and just tell them, hey, listen, the fact that you are alive is just a testament. We laugh. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Listen, look, because I'm trying to figure out how in the world I made it. I remember baby proofing a room and sleeping in front of the door so my children wouldn't leave
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I was just exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are things you have a similar story with so many different moms around the
Hmm.
world. Do you know statistically 1 in 5 mothers will go through some type of PMAD, as we call it, perinatal postpartum mood anxiety disorder? 1 in 5.
1 in 5?
1 in 5. That's big. That's really big. And when we think about, talking about yesteryear and how these conversations weren't being had, and we
Hmm.
think about some of the things that take place. And so we know that sometimes when there's certain levels of dysfunctional
Hmm.
living taking place in a home, the child will go to school and the child will act up in school. And then,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, you got a crisis unit at the end of the block.
That's true.
Right. And
Yep.
so it's like, with regards to, I get really emotional about this, with regards to our kingdom assignment, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? What are we doing to be that change in our communities? And when I, hit my knees and I talked to God about this some years ago, it was like that. You went through some things and
Hmm.
you need to make certain that you're helping to break those type of generational cycles.
Now that's deep. Now, you used to live in Winter Haven. Now you're
Hmm.
here. The
Yeah.
last time I had you on my show, you said it was probably a couple of years ago. It just seemed like yesterday. I have no idea what time is anymore. Every day, it's like every day is a one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
My whole life is one day. It just extends. But it just seemed like it was yesterday. But it was a couple of years ago, and you lived in Winter Haven then.
Yeah.
Winter Park, rather.
Yeah.
And now you're here in Palm Coast.
Yes.
What brings you to Palm Coast? You just came on the show. You was like, I just love Pastor J. I gotta get over there.
It was
That's what it
nothing
was.
but God. I woke up this morning. I knew I had wanted to move. You know what I mean? And God laid Palm Coast on my heart. And I did a year and a half of exploratory type of work.
Right.
I would come up here and talk to home builders. I would go eat at the Chipotle. I would go shop at the Walmart. You know what I mean? Just getting a feel for the lay of the land. And last year in November, I was like, I'm doing it. God was like, yes. You know what I mean? I
Wow.
had been living where I was for 10 years. And we know, when we think about numbers, 10 is the year of completion.
Mhm.
And so God was like, here, go. And what I had did when I knew that I wanted to move, I started packing up stuff, getting rid of stuff.
That's what I
started
did.
purging.
Uh-huh.
And for that year and a half, my house was packed. Like all we had to do was like bedrooms and bathroom, kitchen type
Wow,
of
because
things.
you knew you were going.
I was like, listen, I don't know how, which way, where,
Don't know where,
R
but God's
section,
gonna do
W
it.
section, P
section,
Look.
somebody's section. I'm gonna be in Palm Coast. All right, well, we've got to take a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor J. I don't know why they saying I have a connection problem. Ooh, I mean, I'm like frozen. Oh, here we go. I'm back. All right, well, we can't get much about it now. So, all right, we're ready. We'll go back in. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor J, and I have Tamara Mackroy. Okay, I got the name right. With Maternal Matters Favored.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
let's talk about this name. I love favor because the favor of God is upon my life. Let's just talk
on.
about favor, okay?
Yes.
Listen, I'm one of those crazy women that can decree and declare a thing, it shall be so. That door's just open for me, and God give me the desires of my heart. He perfects those things that concern me. And when I pray, the word of the Lord says, this is the confidence I have in him. So I am
part.
complete. Listen. She conceded. No, honey, I am confident. Because he said that when I pray to him, he hears my prayers. And knowing that he hear me, he's going to give me the things and the petitions I have asked. So
Absolutely.
that's my favor. That's my
Yes,
God.
Yes.
Right?
For me, it's a wordplay. And so I have a project management consulting firm, Management and Consultative Favor.
Ooh.
Maternal Matters Favored. And then I also have a reentry human services agency that I'm relaunching, which is called Favorable Human Services Solution. And so that word favor is
Oh,
I
you
should
like
probably
that
have,
word.
I should probably have a tattoo.
You probably should change your name to favor.
But I too believe, that God will favor us in so many instances of our lives, you know what I mean? And where we've been called and anointed. And, despite what I look like, I don't look like what I've been through. And it's nothing but the hand of God. That
I
has
know
blessed
I
me.
don't look like what I've been through because,
Right.
look, ooh.
And so when we think about, our callings and the talent that God has given us, you know what I mean? We're favored in that realm. You
We
know
are.
what I mean?
We really
To
and
be
truly are. I mean, because even, and I'm sure you've experienced leading while bleeding. A lot of people don't. That's a big deal. That's a huge thing.
Yes.
You're leading while you're bleeding, and you just dig in. It's like the Lord just carries you. He carries you through. He does it. Talk about the footprints in the sand. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's carrying me.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
sometimes folks can, kind of get them intertwined with grace and mercy, but that favor is a thing on
something
its
else.
own.
Listen, I can favor has a dollar amount attached to it. Favor is so valuable. I was just talking to someone. They pay for stuff. Their stuff I just don't pay for. That's what I call favor.
Come on now.
Yeah, I mean it's real that way in my life.
Yeah. God smiles upon us,
He
and
does.
that's just a
He
certain
gives
level
me
of
everything.
favor.
You just walk in. That's what you call when you're a battle axe, a spiritual instigator, a weapon of warfare. Come on now. Don't even get. I'm a atmosphere changer. You walk in the room, the favor of God is upon
The
your
charisma.
life. Yeah. And people talk about an aura. Favor is beyond an aura.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was that, you know what I
I
mean? And
like
so
that.
when I was praying and thinking on this, God gave me this, impregnated me with this in
Mm-hmm.
2018.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm going to get this going, and I went to the Small Business Development Center, and I was like, yes, this is needed, this is not, but your numbers are in red, you don't have this is not, and I kind of tucked it away. And then in 2022, we won this. I won this raffle by the Eatonville Chamber of Commerce, and they wanted to give back to the community by incorporating a business.
Right.
And I had already had the project management firm, and so I was like, "What am I going to do with this?" I started looking, and God was like, "I'm going to,
Remember that other thing
yeah,
that you was gonna
pull back
do?
out that business plan,
That's
get
it.
it done." And so I did, and God has just been blessing it because of my obedience ever since.
Oh wow. So what do you say to the women? How do you find these women? They're coming to you. People are, you know,
Yeah.
calling you up, going,
Um,
"Hey."
I wish, right? No, but it's a lot of getting out here and being the hands and feet in the community, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's connecting with those that are in churches, um, networking with libraries, working
Mm.
to be that anomaly in a room of different business organizations and just communicating the mission. And then you find that individuals are like, oh yeah, I went through that. Oh, I know my sister went through that. And it becomes that opportunity to spread the word and provide that level of service. And so it just really varies because,
Mm-hmm.
once more, I've been doing this work once a month. I'm in Orlando at First Baptist Church. It's a big
Okay.
church in Orlando, and they have a Haitian ministry. They rescued a couple of refugees, and these individuals went through severe traumatic experiences just to make it over to America. So when we think about postpartum with
Mm-hmm.
us over here, imagine those that are in lesser, economic worlds and so forth. And so once a month, I'm out there doing a co-ed workshop with these parents. And then, we have a translator that helps us, and curriculum is all translated into Creole and everything like that. The Winter Park Library, connecting with them, and all the way up to Flagler. So now we're brand new here in Flagler, and I'm working to put the word out there. We're here. We're here.
So
This is the territory.
how do people get in contact with you?
Please reach out to me. And so phone number 407-436-7825. You can reach me,
Mm-hmm.
send me a text, give me a phone call. You can come over to us. We're located at 703 East Moody Boulevard in Suite number 5. And for anyone that's familiar with the area, it's the old DCF office.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that
Right?
is.
The big yellow building. God
Oh
showed us
yeah.
some favor because I was just looking. I'm like, okay, God, I'm here. I need to
That's
get.
a good spot.
It was
Oh,
just God. Let me tell you the story behind that. I went into there and asked the pharmacy, hey, do you know if any of these offices are being rented? And they were like, I don't know. Here's the property manager's number. Held on to the property manager's number for about a good week. I was like feeling discouraged. I kept looking. This is too much. Oh, this is not the right
right.
area. I knew I needed to be in that area. The health department with
Mm-hmm.
everything was there, right? And so I finally called. Property manager's like, yeah, we do have a space. Um, Let me talk to the owner and come back to you. Conversations went back and forth. Do you know that he donated the space for $1 a month for the next 12 months?
Look at the Lord.
Over 857
That's
square feet.
that's a blessing.
Come see
Well,
us.
look, won't he do it? Won't
Favor.
look? Won't he do favor? Just isn't fair. I told you it had a dollar amount, the dollar sign attached to it. What do you say to the naysayers or the suck it up buttercups? Because a lot of people look at mental health and depression and it's like, oh, I when I was having a baby, we didn't have to go through all of that. Y'all just raising a bunch of soft kids and there's a bunch of soft people now. What do you say to that?
I
And have you
say,
experienced that?
I have,
Yeah.
because I grew up in that household. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Chin up, shoulders back. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? You don't let
Never
them
let them
see
see
you
you
cry.
sweat.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
no,
Mm-mm.
and inside I was dying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was, when we think about some of the symptoms of, mental health disparities,
Again, how in the world did we make it out? Nobody but God.
and so while it seems like a lot of folks from yesteryear are super, super tough, I promise you that there's some unhealed trauma that's taking
Always.
place. And so this is the season, you know what I mean, where we're
Mm-hmm.
in, where there's an open forum, you know what I mean? Let's extend our arms and try to work to meet a person where they're at, no matter what situation they're dealing with.
How about women of color when it comes to prenatal treatment? You know, there's been studies all over about how Black women and brown women have not been receiving appropriate prenatal care. That it's serious.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a serious deal. And also, I just recently read a report about how women doctors actually are better listeners and give better care.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm sure stuff like that contributes to
It does.
the depression, because women would go to the doctor and would tell their doctor, "Oh, I'm having this issue. There's nothing wrong with you." Especially Black women.
Yeah.
What is it about where society, and I don't want to say white America, I'll just say society in general, think Black women are just like tough as nails? Where did
That
that
part.
come from? I mean, really?
If you think historically, you know what I mean, we were the ones that had to make certain that we took care of everything.
That's
So it was
true.
our homes and it was our slave masters' homes. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so
That's
despite
true.
what we were internalizing, we still had to show up and get it done. And so a lot of times, regrettably too often, what we've been taught to do is to stuff it. And when we are actually starting to exhibit and communicate some of these things, there's been prolonged situations taking place, and what we do know is it's always easier to be proactive as opposed to reactive.
Mm,
But there's a kind of like a barrier and a blocker that's taking place in our society when it comes to the maternal care of women of color. And regrettably, there's so much more that needs to be done. I know that we're running
yeah.
short.
All right. Well, we got to take another break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You are listening to Today with Pastor Jay. How much time I got? Ooh, okay. All right. You ready? I want to give a thank you and a shout out to blah, blah, blah. Forgot who I'm thinking and shouting out to. Okay, you ready? I'm ready again. I want to give a thank you and a shout out to Church on the Rock and the Steve Verrier, the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay. And I want to thank you to Tamara for being on my show, for bringing this much needed, because this isn't a color or skin thing, right? This is just the way that it is. And the support groups that you're having, the peer counseling, the life skill classes, workshops, are so needed. And your phone number, I'm going to give it 407-436-7825. And the website is mmfavored.org. And what was that address?
703 East Moody Boulevard. We are in suite number 5 in the big yellow building right across the street from the Bunnell Post Office.
That's right. That's right. The big yellow building. And what are your hours there?
I'm there 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. For the most part, all of our services are in the evening. We cater
Okay.
to the working parents that need to be at their jobs to
Mm-hmm.
make certain that they're able to maintain their bills, right?
Right.
And so, like I mentioned,
And these
support group-
services are free?
free to the public.
Free
Yes.
to the public.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. We are to be each other's keeper.
That is wonderful. I just want to thank you so much for bringing these much needed services here to Flagler County, and
Absolutely.
congratulations on being a resident here. I mean, you went from one thing to another, and I just love your spirit. And may the Lord continue to bless you and all that you do for Him as unto Him.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me back. Everyone, I'm super stoked to be of service to you. Please reach out. Let's save some lives.
All right. All right, guys. You know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Well, first of all, you're going to go to mmfavorite.org and you're going to click the donate button and donate. Oh, volunteer some hours. Say, hey, you know what? I've got some skills that you can use. I'm sure she could use them. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.